Hey now, what's going on, guys? My name is Mike Brown, aka ReviewKingMB, and with the impending reboot coming very soon, I decided to go back and rewatch to review The Transporter, the original, which is a 2002 film starring Jason Statham as Frank Martin, aka The Transporter. You see him at the very beginning. He is a hired transporter. It's as simple as that. I mean, he'll work for whoever has the right price. He'll transport people, like if they're bank robbers trying to get from point A to point B, he'll drive them, or he'll transport a package that has to be delivered. And he's the go-to guy. He's the guy for the job because he's clearly good at what he does. He will do anything to get the job done. And he has these 3 rules that he follows, and that's how he gets all of his jobs done. Until this one case where he opens a package and sees that it's a woman. And this causes him to get involved with this gang who are up to some illegal schemes. And that's the plot. Now, what I think of The Transporter is, I love this movie. I do. I enjoy it so much for so many different reasons. First and foremost, let's talk about Jason Statham as the Transporter, because I know that this wasn't Jason Statham's first movie or anything like that, but I'm pretty sure this is the first movie where I noticed him or recognized him or thought to myself, he's a star. He's awesome in this role, not just because he's very all about the job and he has his rules and he's good at what he does, but I like the fact that he doesn't really have too many morals at the beginning. He'll work for whoever he has to, but also when he comes across this lady played by Shu Ki, her character's name is Lai. She's the one who's tied up in his trunk, and that's when he realizes that he's transporting a woman. When he realizes that she's involved with this, he doesn't immediately come to her rescue, but you can tell there is a part of him that feels bad about this, or he's not completely 100% for it. So at least it shows that he's not heartless. He has a soul, so I can appreciate that. But the way how he gets involved with this gang, I love. I love, because the main villain, his name is Wall Street, played by Matt Schulz. I love the way how he knows that Jason Statham opened the package. He knows that he knows what's going on. So he plants a bomb in his car. Luckily, Jason Statham doesn't get killed by the bomb, but he gets pissed. In the scene where he knocks on the door and the guy goes to look in the little peephole, and you just see Jason Statham running up and does that super kick through the door and beats all of their asses single-handedly. That was fucking awesome. I mean, if you don't like the character up until that point, I defy you to not love him after that scene. That was awesome. He's a badass. And he doesn't even really care about saving the girl again. He's just pissed that his car got blown up and they tried to kill him, so he takes a car for himself. A car for a car. This is a character that you just can't help but like and get behind. So I love that. The action and the fighting, I can't begin to describe how awesome I think all of that is. The choreography that had to go into each and every one of these fights had to be insane, and the dedication that Jason Statham had to have to not only be in the shape, but to pull all of this off. The scenes where he's like fighting 2 guys in that hallway, and just the way how he's able to kick them, I can't even begin to describe it. Later on, he's fighting multiple, like 7 or 8 guys by himself, and I love the part where he's fighting them, and he spills this oil on the ground, and he douses himself in the oil, so when they're all trying to grab at him, it's all slippery, and they can't hold on to him, and he's getting away, and he puts on the pedals from the bicycle to walk on the oil. I'm like, this guy is awesome. These fights are super creative and original and different. But let's talk a little bit more about the story, because when Jason Statham does get into contact with Lai, you start to question whether she's lying or not, ironically enough, because she has the story about how her father and her people are being shipped and going to be used as slaves by this Wall Street guy, and Jason Statham has to figure out if he can trust her or if he should even go along with this wild chase. And that's what I liked. Also, I liked how he had to deal with the inspector, played by Francois Berlin, who every once in a while the inspector shows up at his house to check up on him and to make sure he's not up to anything bad because he knows his past. Jason Statham's character is like a former Marine, military guy, but you can question where he's currently getting his money. So I like their relationship. I like how you're wondering just how much this inspector knows, because it seems like he does know, but he also knows that he's not a bad guy. But also, his character ends up being like a big ally to Jason Statham, not only in this movie, but the whole franchise. Another thing I want to mention is the soundtrack for this movie. The soundtrack is very different in the sense that I wouldn't have expected a movie like this to have the soundtrack. You're watching this movie, and it's a lot of rap music or hip-hop music. And it's just, I mean, the first time I watched this, I was very surprised by some of the music choices. All music that I like, but it's just you never would have guessed that this movie with this cast and this type of plot would have it. But that's what separates it from any other action type movie, or that's what helps, not only the fighting but the music. It's all very different. It all feels different. What more can I say? I'm talking this movie up because I enjoyed it. I very much enjoyed even rewatching it. You can't help but love the fighting and how much of a badass Jason Statham is. I love this film, clearly, if you couldn't already tell. Let me know in the comments below, what do you think of the very first Transporter movie? Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Later.